Welcome back to the Avenue. It is a great day on the Avenue, and you guys, for this one, let me tell you, you're going to get your paper and you're going to get your pencil or pen because you're going to write a lot of notes on this one. This is the video you do not want to miss. This is the one that you've asked me to record. You've written me about it, and basically I want to upfront say this is not financial advice, but many of you are wondering, what should I invest in right now? How's the market going? This and that. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to name specific investments that you may want to look at and consider. This is not investment advice. I'm not telling you to do any of this, but I'm going to break down some ETFs. This is what people have been wanting to know about. This is what people have been asking about, and I'm going to get that to you today. So stay tuned.
She's a go-getter, alright. What a beautiful sight. Anything she sets her mind to, she stays on it day and night. She writes the checks, she signs the deeds. She plants the fruitful seeds and still finds the time to meet all her family needs.
Now, for most people, if they could just own a few ETFs, they would be satisfied. You can do well in your investments philosophy and in your investments into the future. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. You don't necessarily have to pick individual stock. Now, if you pick individual stock, you may make more money faster, but doing the ETFs, you're investing in a larger group of stock, and it may be in that same sector. And so it's somewhat safer than individual stock, but because the ETFs, exchange traded funds, outnumber stock now, it's a good thing to try to look at them. So I'm revamping everything I'm doing, as you know from a previous video I told you. And so the normal ETFs that everybody talks about, everybody kind of knows about, I'm just going to name three of them. You can go check them out, is VOO, VTI, and SCHD. Those are three that's well known, for making great returns. SCHD is actually a dividend stock where if you want to get dividends on a regular basis, you can invest in that. And these will range anywhere from the $30, $40-ish up until the $600, depending on what it is. So take a look at those to begin with. But what I'm going to talk to you about now are the most powerhouse ETFs out there right now. And these are the ones that look at the future, what's going on in the future. And as we know, AI is in the future. And so these will focus on those type of investments in groups. And there are some powerhouses in here. If you invest in those and invest at the right time, you will be just fine in the future. Okay. Let's start with the first one, and this is the one that's the foundational one of your ETFs, and it is SCHG. This is a Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF, and this is like the foundational one is what I said, and it's not flashy, it's very dependable, and it has stocks that will invest in the large cap. And that is something that you want to take a look at. It's very foundational, not flashy, but it will make you money over time. As I said, the AI revolution is up on us, so we cannot ignore the future. What I'm looking at in ETFs is where's the future going? Where can I invest my money for growth in the future? And the next one up that we want to invest in for growth in the future is SMH. And this is a semiconductor ETF. So every AI model, every chat bot, every self-driving car, every advanced robot, every data center needs semiconductors. And so what this one is, it invests in a group of semiconductors, the best that are out there. If you don't want to pick one semiconductor company to invest in or two semiconductors, it invests in the top semiconductors. So this is a great one to have for the future in AI if you want to invest in AI for semiconductors. Okay, I hope you are taking copious notes because I'm giving you gems, you guys, things that you can go and research for yourself, but these are powerhouse ETFs. Next up, and if it's one that you will invest in, I know a lot of people, the bulk of their investments is in this one, right? So if you want to invest in something that you don't have to look at every day and you just invest and let it ride, it will take you into the future and you will be more than thanking your old self for doing this. And that is QQQ. Those are, and there's several QQQs out there, but QQQ is the one that most people will invest in and don't worry about. And that covers the technology, it covers communication, consumer innovations, cloud computing, digital transportation. It gives you exposure to the things that you really need that's going to go into the future. So you have the QQQs. There's a QQQM that has a lower expense ratio that's more set for long-term investors like myself. Some of these I have, some of them I don't have yet. I'm looking for entry points to get into them. QQQ is one of those that I'm looking for an entry point to get into because it's quite expensive. But to look forward to the future, we have to calculate that. And once I get my entry point, I'm going to be in QQQ. Again, this is not financial advice, but write these down, do the research for yourself, and make your decision of which one you want to check into, which one you want to go ahead and purchase. Okay, if you are getting a lot already from the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Have you invested in any of these, or are these new to you? Are you going to try to invest in some of them? Or if you have an ETF that you really, really like that's done real good for you, drop a note. We'd all like to know about that. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because I'd like to have you on board for more videos in the future. Okay, the thing about AI is that it is exciting to invest in the companies that we know, such as NVIDIA and stuff like that, that we know that's heavy in the AI. But there are some hidden gems in AI that some people don't talk about. And with all the data centers being created, they have to be powered by electricity in some way. And so this is a good, because nothing works if you don't have power. And these data centers require a lot of power. They require a lot of ways to cool off these big machines that they have in there. So there's infrastructure around the AI that also keeps the AI running, keeps these companies going, keeps the semiconductors being made and all of that. So we don't want to forget that, because those are some hidden gems that if we invest in those, we can also make money into the future. And one that we want to specifically take a look at and research it for yourself is XLU. Now this is an ETF that invests in utilities, power infrastructures, grid modernization, and energy equipment, which is all centered around helping the AI move forward. So some of these things cannot work. We like companies and semiconductors and all of that, but they don't work unless you have the power to run them. And this, the energy drain, this is something that people are talking about that they need for it to happen, for these companies to keep going into the future. As the memory gets more powerful, as the computers get more powerful, they need more energy to keep them going. And so XLU is a great ETF to look at that will definitely help your investments into the future. Check it out. One of the new hotshot ETFs that I recently invested in is DRAM. This ETF is one that will, 75% invested in computer chips, the chip giants out there, which involve Micron, Samsung, XK Hynix, all of those. And so this ETF, DRAM, is invested in the 75% invested in the chip company. So the memory company. So we know we need memory chips out there, right? And so this is invested in that, but it's not only invested in just one, it's invested in many of these memory companies. So that's one that I became interested in because we need more memory to run this AI stuff, you guys. As you know, as you're running, if it's ChatGPT or wherever you're running, it takes up memory because that stuff is being stored somewhere. And so it's going to take up memory. And if you can imagine, when you get these little Samsung drives, the price of those have gone up. So memory is getting more and more expensive into the future. it's a good thing to take a look at these because it may help you with your investing into the future. Now, there is one powerhouse ETF sector that I'm really interested in and invested in, and that's the healthcare ETFs. We do not want to forget them because there are some great ones out there, and I'm going to name a couple of them for you because into the future, as you get older, people are always going to need healthcare, whether it's companies that's invested in healthcare such as Johnson & Johnson, or if it's companies that's innovative, making materials, making machines that will help people in the future, robotics in operations and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on in the hospitals that thank God you haven't been to one lately, but if you've been to them lately, there's a lot of things that they're doing and a lot of machines rolling around that are very, very expensive. So let's not forget the healthcare ETFs because this also will help balance out your ETF selection. But this is something that's moving into the future, something that I'm highly interested in. And so some of those healthcare ETFs are XLV. Now, this is one that invests in blue chip health companies, very low expense ratio, strong dividends, extremely liquid. So they invest in companies such as Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, United Health Group, Merck & Company, that type of thing. The next one I want to bring up is VHT, which is a Vanguard Health ETF, and it owns 400 health companies, including pharmaceuticals, biotechs, medical devices, health providers, and that type of thing. And so the next one that I want to talk to you about is IHI. And this one invests in companies such that will make surgical robots, heart valves, imaging equipment, implants, diagnostic devices, that type of thing. So as you can see, the healthcare is moving in the same direction, becoming better. And these machines and what they're coming up cost money, right? So if you're invested in them and they get a breakthrough, you guys, that's when the company stock rises even more. And so you don't have to narrow it down to just one health company or one health stock. You can invest in either of these and will help with the health sector because it's big out there and we definitely do not want to forget healthcare. When I first started investing in the stock market, I figured that the more stock I owned, the better off I was. And I do like single stock, don't get me wrong. I do have some ETFs, but then I have some single stock that I'm heavily invested in. But it's not about more for me now. It's more about simplicity, becoming something simple that I can look at or not look at. I track it because I like looking at it. But if I don't want to look at it, I don't want to be worried that, okay, I'm losing money at some point. I don't want to be worried about that. I want to make sure my investments are safe. And ETFs are a better way of knowing that you're invested in a basket of companies that if one goes down, probably not all of them will go down. Or if they drop in an area, they probably won't go down as quickly as one. And if they rise, they probably won't rise as quickly as one. But you would still have the potential of making money over the years. And that's why I like ETFs. Now, I've increased the number of ETFs that I've been investing in, and I'm looking at stocks and reducing the number of stocks that I have out there because sometimes if you look at these ETFs, they overlap. They're investing in the same companies that the other one is invested in. And do you need all ETFs invested in the same company? So you may want to diversify there because once you invest in Nvidia or Apple or some of those companies, you don't need to invest in it again in another ETF. So just take a look at that, what they're invested in, what are their top 10 investments that they have. Look at that. How many investments in that sector do they actually have? Some of them have 100, some of them have 500, some of them have 50. So take a look at all of that. Do the research for yourself, and hopefully you can find some ETFs that will help you along your investment journey. So what am I looking at? I am looking at AI investments. I'm looking at semiconductors. I'm looking at healthcare. And I'm looking at energy, electricity, and the energy into the future. That's where I'm looking as far as my ETFs are concerned. I want to know, what are you looking at into the future? Because it's not about what tomorrow brings, but it's about what's down the road, 5 years, 10 years. And as things change, I may change things out to something different. So, but these are some ETFs that I want you to take a look at. I provided you with a lot of information today. If you need to go back through the video, please do so. But drop me a line. Is there something specifically that I said that you're very, very interested in? Are there any ones that you're going to try for yourself? I'd like to know. I'd like to hear from you. I've given you the information. Do the research for yourself. This is not financial advice. No one is guaranteed to make money. No one is guaranteed to lose money. But if you're invested in something, more than likely, if you stay there and let it invest over the future, it's going to get better for you. Okay, so keep that in mind. And with that, I will see you in the next video.
Go, Adrienne. Humble, go get it blessed. Let's go.